Hey, it's Sasha Evdokov, and welcome to BackstageIncome.com, where I share with you how money is made behind the scenes as well as growing your business. Now, in this week's episode, what I'd like to share with you is slippage cost. So first off, what is slippage cost? Well, slippage cost is often referred to in the stock market, but it can be applied to other areas or contexts in life. So oftentimes in the stock market, slippage cost is referred to the price that you lose when doing the transaction. So for example, if you have a certain price that you're looking to get filled in the stock or to purchase a stock versus the price that you actually paid for that stock, that difference is the slippage cost that happens. It's basically the difference between where you're looking to get filled and where you actually got filled. So that is slippage cost in terms of the market. Now, if we apply this into regular life, and let's just say you're at the flea market and you're looking to purchase an air freshener such as this one. Now, this air freshener at the flea market may go for $2 or $3, but let's just say you go and you start negotiating things, and you might actually negotiate down to $1.50 or $1.75. Now, the slippage costs for the merchant or the business owner of that flea market store, they took a little bit of a hit, and that was a 25-cent to maybe $1 hit on that transaction. So that can also be referred to as a slippage cost because it costs you money to do the transaction if you're the business owner. Now, on the other hand, if you're the consumer or customer buying this, you actually came out ahead when doing the purchase. Now, one thing that most people don't understand when it comes to using money is that there's a lot of slippage costs associated to just the fact of using money. So just to use money, it actually costs you. And it costs you not just financially, but it costs you in many other ways. So for example, let's say you're a camera enthusiast and you want to get a new shiny camera. And let's just say you currently have this camera around, and what you want to do is sell this one and then take that money and go ahead and put it towards a new camera. So by doing this transaction, by using money, it's actually going to cost you, and it's going to cost you in a few different ways. So the first way is actually listing that camera is going to cost you in terms of transaction costs. So if you're listing it on eBay or if you're accepting money, you're probably going to take a hit. So initially, if you paid $700 for this camera, now that it's used, because you used some money to buy this camera, now that it's used or opened or out of the box, you may only get $600 or $500 for this camera. Now, after you sell it, you'll probably have to do transaction costs, like with eBay, with PayPal, whatever it is, depending on the method that you sell it. If you sell it through cash, like with Craigslist, you may not have those kinds of costs, but you may have additional costs, such as meeting with people or looking at the cameras, presenting it, selling it to them, scheduling things. So all those additional costs start to add up. And then when you go ahead and look for your new camera or you're looking to buy your new camera, there's a lot of additional costs that are associated with that. So what you'll have to do is go ahead and do your research. You'll have to go ahead and spend time figuring out which camera is the most optimal purchase for you. And then you'll have to go ahead and buy it. You'll have to, again, use your money. And in that, there's some slippage costs in terms of getting the deal, getting the right deal, the financial things that you have to go through to actually acquire that camera. And then you actually have to spend your time and energy to figure out how to use that new camera. So there's all those other additional costs that are actually associated with it beyond just purchasing the camera. And most people don't understand that or don't think about those things. So as you can see how using money actually costs you money. So if you were to go ahead and do the same transaction time and time again, you'd actually continue to accrue a negative balance because you're constantly using money and your funds would continue to drain. Now, it also costs you in terms of your time and energy because if you're looking to purchase something new and different, you have to learn about that thing. You have to call up or you have to place that order, enter your credit card number. It also costs you in that way in terms of opportunity costs or time and energy costs. It's for this reason why some of the famous business owners and people like Steve Jobs typically wore the same thing day in and day out. Because if you walk into your closet and you see 25 different color shirts, you see 25 different varieties, the same thing with pants, socks, shoes, you start to get overwhelmed. You have to think about it and make processes and decisions. It's actually costing you time and energy. When in fact, if you had a single closet with, let's say, 10 black shirts, 10 black shorts, 10 blue jeans and the same sneakers, maybe just 5 pairs of the same sneakers, you already know what you're going to wear. This means packing for your next vacation is going to be quite easy, because if you're gone for 5 days, you just take 5 shirts, 5 shorts, and maybe 5 pairs of socks and go on your trip. It just allows you to use that additional time for other things. And it's one of the same reasons why I don't upgrade my technology or certain components that I use on a day-to-day basis for multiple years. It's just because the opportunity cost is expensive for me. So I have a lot of slippage costs if I go ahead and take this cell phone, which is a Galaxy Samsung S4, and I go ahead and upgrade to the S6, which is already, 2 models up from this, but I've had this phone for maybe 3 or 4 years. But for me, it's perfectly fine and okay using this cell phone because it works, the reception is there, and if I was to go ahead and sell it, it would cost me not only my time, but also financially. And then getting the new one, I would also have to spend a lot of time and energy figuring that out, how to use it, how to get a protective case, and there's a lot of additional costs associated with that. So rather than doing that and spending all those costs onto this phone, I'd rather shoot a video like this one or do something else more productive. So in the end, remember that using money costs you money, and the more transactions that you're doing, you have to start looking things underneath. And slippage cost really refers to the transaction cost that's lost. But if you go deeper, remember that it's costing you time and your energy. So if you're running around for multiple days figuring out which phone to buy, it's actually costing you a great deal of time. Time that you could be using to spend and write a book, which in fact, this book I wrote in just under 2 days. Thanks for watching this video lesson. If you found it helpful and insightful and you want to see some other lessons that I have available, as well as some insight to some products, new releases for some of the books that I have coming out, then go ahead, click this link, and when you get there, enter your name and email address, and I'll be sure to send out those newsletters as they are released. But if you want to check out some of the other business trainings and financial trainings that I have available, then click the button right below this video and you'll be taken to that page. Thanks again, and remember to do what you love, contribute to others, but most importantly, live life abundantly. I'll see you next time.